Alright, hello. That's intentional, yes. Alright, everyone here. Just one last roll call. Snow, Retro, Shadow, Sid, Hi, Yatsu. Y'all are here. Alright then. Okay, so if we'll meet Enid here. Sure thing, Hi. You good, Hi? Okay then. Well, first of all, welcome to Session 0 of Strixhaven, a Curriculum of Chaos. The next big campaign we're going to be playing in. Oh, yeah, okay. Alright then, we got the blessing. Well, there's not really a lot I can say to start this because we've already been talking about this campaign for quite a while, but yep. Strixhaven, the next campaign we're gonna be playing in for quite a while, probably. And, yeah. Well, hopefully we can do this like Fridays, but before we get to scheduling, let's at least discuss the campaign first. We can leave scheduling as the last hurdle. But yeah. Welcome to Strixhaven, a shitty PowerPoint orientation. Because I joked about making a PowerPoint for this and ended up with 70 slides. Alright, so first of all, let's jump right in. Okay, so for Session 0, what are we going to discuss? Well, just because this is going to be a long campaign, well, four main things. Some more important than the others, but mostly what the campaign setting is, what life at Strixhaven or playing the campaign is going to be like, some stuff about character creation, and some stuff about house rules. Just, I guess we can just slide on and if you want to take notes, may I go to the bathroom? Sure. This is a good start. Are you actually going, or are you still here? Okay. Alright. Well, I guess we can start by, first of all... Okay, so the campaign setting, as you all probably most likely know, Strixhaven is going to be set in Strixhaven. Wow, gee, who could have known? So in this part of Session 0, we'll just discuss what Strixhaven is, who are the founding dragons who founded the school, Arcabios, the plane this is set on, and some other special stuff that's unique to this setting that might be important if you want to go there with your characters or something, or might not. I won't guarantee. And before we do start, not all of this information might be public knowledge to the characters, but this is more of just an introductory to the players. Like all of this is public knowledge to the people in the setting, but not everyone is guaranteed to know it. But I guess, yeah, we can start okay, Strixhaven. Well, what even is Strixhaven? Well, Strixhaven, first of all, is a university. It's a university where people go to study magic. And, well, right here you can see its mission statement. The mission of Strixhaven University is to discover and preserve magical knowledge, to disseminate that knowledge from one generation to the next, promote free and open study of magic in all its forms, and to enhance the lives of people throughout the world through the use of magic. So, magic, university studying magic. Pretty much all you need to know. And, well, there you can see a graphical depiction of what the school looks like. Yada yada yada, we've all already talked about this before, but just in case. And, well, and some general knowledge. And, well, Strixhaven is basically, you can treat it as one of the most prestigious magical university in the multiverse. Not only in Arcabios, the setting it's on, but in other planes as well that knows about the existence of other planes. It's kind of a big deal to study at Strixhaven. Being accepted into the school is a special honor. Like some people will make it their life mission to graduate from Strixhaven, and pretty much, if you've even just studied for a year at Strixhaven, you're already like pretty pretty reputable, I guess. You'll basically just have some sort of prestige with you just by being associated to Strixhaven. So that's one way you can, well, it's the University of Magic. If you ever want to study magic, there's really only one big place you can go if you want to get the most prestigious and most esteemed form of learning. That is Strixhaven. And well, when did this school form? 7 centuries ago, or 700 years ago, Strixhaven was founded by 5 ancient dragons who were rumored to have been born when two other planes collided and formed what became Arcabios, where this setting is from. And those 5 dragons who were born with it decided to, well, found 5 different colleges where magic, knowledge of magic, and the practice of magic will be preserved and passed on to the next generation. And they chose to leave it to, well, the people who are going to run it, mostly mortals, and pretty much all the races you already know, plus some extra. And well, it's yeah, and it's generally the dragons founded the university, but they aren't actually present anymore. They still keep in touch, but the dragons themselves are mostly doing their own thing somewhere else. But people do know about the 5 dragons. It's pretty much hard not to know when the colleges are literally named after these dragons, but we'll discuss who they are later. And well, as a Strixhaven student, you start with a well-rounded education. So, of course, this campaign will start with you all as first years. In Strixhaven, there is 4 years of study, with the first year being just your general introduction to the university, as the college you'll actually go to will be decided at the start of your second year. So you all will have an entire year to get used to the school, know characters, know exactly what you're going to specialize in. That's the purpose of what your first year will be, at least for the characters. And yeah, you can read all of that. I can send this PowerPoint or PDF file later if you all want to actually have a deeper read to it, but yeah. Okay, 3 important things to Strixhaven that basically sets a mood for it. First of all, yeah, like I said, Strixhaven is a university. The characters will be students at Strixhaven University. That's kind of like, if you're gonna play in this campaign, it's expected you roll a student. If you really want to do something else, it's gonna be difficult, as this campaign is basically designed as you all students, and I think none of you really plan to not be students anyway, but it's expected, it's built around the fact that you will be students. So just keep that in mind and it's possible to not focus too much on your studies, or you can be a lazy student if you want. Just run with the fact that this campaign will be designed around you all being students. And with that in mind, since you all are students, all of the characters are going to follow generally what students follow, including listening to authority, because you all are youngins, and there will be teachers, there will be seniors, there will be staff. So follow them, don't, but generally, assuming you've been to school, which I'm pretty sure all of you have, anything that usually goes in a school or doesn't go, expect it here, which includes getting detention or expulsion. Being a teacher is going to be useful. Maybe so. My rabbit is submissive and breedable. Alright then. So basically, since this is going to be a mostly roleplay heavy campaign, the threat of death is still there, don't get me wrong. but basically it's replaced or substituted with the threat of expulsion. Being expelled is pretty much a high chance of your character being removed from the campaign, so just run with that in mind. Your character might come back. You might have a second chance, so it isn't like actual character death. But if you actually do enough to get expelled, treat it as something like your character dying and being removed from the campaign, because it's pretty much an equivalent there. It's pretty hard to get expelled at Strixhaven unless you're really trying to do it, because at that point you might probably will deserve it. And yeah. So, of course, Strixhaven, for those if you've wondered, yes, students at Strixhaven live on campus, because it's going to be pretty hard to go to and from the campus with how huge it is. So, yep, there's stuff like dormitories, there's dining halls, there's generally a lot of things that will sustain a student living here. So, and yes, you can have roommates, and I'll tell you all how you all will be set up to meet in the first session. Oh my god, there were crewmates. Alright, next slide is... Yep, it's an academy of mages. And yeah, so we've said this before, but Strixhaven isn't just a wizard school. No, this is not Hogwarts. It is, but it's an academy for specifically mages, the umbrella term. Not wizards, not sorcerers, not warlocks. Mages. Anyone who is willing to study or practice magic is welcome at Strixhaven. So even if you are a class that doesn't get magic or doesn't get full magic, as long as you have an interest to study here and a desire to learn how to wield, utilize, or practice magic, you are welcome at Strixhaven. So like the example given here, these are all like taken from the book, and I just snipped the parts that are repetitive or unnecessary for all of you. But yeah, an example is you can be a barbarian with the subclass of Ancestral Guardians studying at Lorehold, and you can use your ancestral spirit as a way to connect to Lorehold College and summoning the spirits of the past. So that's one way you can be a non-magic class while still attending Strixhaven, the mage school. Okay, I guess you all are arguing in chat. Well, okay then, just continue that. And yeah, if it wasn't obvious already, magic can be found everywhere in this school. This is very much going to be a high magic campaign. Like usually we might be used to like medium setting magic or like a low tier magic. This is very much high magic campaign. Nearly everyone here can cast a spell. Magic items are everywhere. The floor is magic. The food is magic, probably. Magic everywhere. So that's just something to keep in mind. Spells. Yeah, we'll discuss what happens to Sinitus later. And yep, third most important thing, the school is cosmopolitan. Basically, whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever you are, as long as you want to study magic here, you're probably going to be welcome. So like, you can see stuff like, there's the standard humans, elves, dwarves, then there's the unique race of Owlin, or you can be an orc, a troll, a vampire. You can even be a living tree. Yeah, don't worry, Sid, I also just learned what that meant. Basically, there are giants. There are actual giants. Like one I won't say which or who, but one of the faculty in one of the colleges is literally a stone giant. Okay, now you guys will be available to the standard playable races, because there are reasons you are not allowed to play a giant creature in D&D, because that Neapolitan. Who knows? But yeah, like there's one college who has like there's a cafeteria manager who's a troll. She cooks for the school and she's a troll. She's a friendly troll. Well, quotations friendly. But yeah. Knowles too. Probably. Just whatever race you can think of, there's probably a student or a staff member in Strixhaven. There's just it's welcoming to everyone, whoever you are, whatever you are, just long as you aren't an asshole and you actually have an interest in studying there, you can probably find that kind of person here. Whether or not they're common is another thing, but yeah, they can probably be found here. And yeah, as well as, yep, second part is to the students and faculty of Strixhaven. It is common enough that people come from other planes, other lands, other maybe even universes. Though I'll just say we can stick to like relatively close time to shit out every half orc. There's probably a lot more actual full orcs than half orcs, or maybe equal amounts. But yeah, no matter wherever you're from, it's pretty common that yeah, people from all over the plane, the universe study here. Yeah. And I guess now we'll move on to, well, the 5 founder dragons, because as Strixhaven is a university, it has 5 colleges, and each of them were founded by one of the 5 founder dragons. Yes, yes, Ed. I've used PowerPoint all my life. But yeah. And well, as you can probably tell, each of the colleges was named after one of the founding dragons. In this order, I guess, there's Beladros Witherbloom, Tanazir Quandrix, Galazeth Prismari, Velomachus Lorehold, and Shadric Silvercore. Each of them hold different values in the use and practice of magic, and, well, like I said earlier, they aren't in the university anymore, but if you really want to find them, there's probably a way to contact them, like, usually. As, though they are the founders, the colleges are primarily led by the deans of each college, which we'll get to later on. Nice. But yeah. Shad. And, well, I won't say which is which, but yeah. Some of them are women, yes. And I guess we can move on to, okay, next is the Plane of Arcabios. Now, before anyone asks, Arcabios, since this is an adaptation of Magic the Gathering, doesn't actually have that much amount of fleshed out lore. So this is the plane we're set on, and yeah, all the settings here are generally do exist, but it's actually, since it's a card game, so there's not too much lore fleshed out. So if you want to make something up yourself and run it by me, we can probably arrange that. If you want to be from a specific place that has this specific thing, or this specific, like, political kingdom or something, that we can talk about that. Yeah, the character backstories and creation stuff we can handle at the end, but this is your introduction. Though Arcabios is big, it's pretty much the only purpose of it in Magic the Gathering is to facilitate where Strixhaven is located, as you can see, well, there. The campaign will, most of the time, take place in Strixhaven. Though, the book is, like, loose enough where I can put my own things there. Part of what I do want to discuss is, as some of you already know, during stuff like breaks, like the semester breaks as well as the summer breaks where you're moving up a year, I want to use that time to do stuff like do something more personal to your characters. Like I guess in the format of how we usually do one-shots, stuff like that, where it will be about what you guys want to do. And yeah, if you really want to, we can do a beach episode. Personal questions. Yep. Though they can still be included in the campaign. I'm just waiting on what your characters will actually be about before I decide what story beats of your characters happen within Strixhaven and what can happen outside. But generally, no. If you want something a bit more personal, and I kind of do want to give each of the characters like a personal arc, like just something that's special to them, like a story for them, small, big, maybe. We'll discuss that later on, as the book is free enough where I can do that if I want. But yeah, and yes, most of what's fleshed out in the lore is actually in Strixhaven, and I can send a link to the actual Arcabios wiki if you want to read that. But just know that the lore in Magic the Gathering is pretty bare bones. Other than what happens at Strixhaven, everywhere else is pretty much free territory for you to make something up yourself. How would a Naga... Yeah, card game lore. How would a Naga wear a swimsuit? Good question. Okay, now two specific things that... Okay. In Arcabios, these are two specific important figures. First of all, the Archaics. The ones on the left you can see here are basically Gargantuan Celestials. They are they're a type of celestial that basically all-knowing, powerful giant with an orb eye that they can see into the future, past, whatever. Yeah, if you want to be something related to it, like if you want to be like, I'm just putting them here because you can do something like, oh, are you a divine soul sorcerer who got their power from an archaic, something like that. Or if you are like a cleric or paladin that's somehow tied to one of the archaics, that they are generally wanderers. They're mostly solitary types of celestials, as they do walk Arcabios, as in they actually walk on the plane. It's not common to find them, but if you search for one, well, if you search for one hard enough, you can probably find one of them and ask it for its wisdom, though they are pretty vague. yeah. They are pretty vague with their knowledge, as there's more specific stuff that I'm not telling about the Archaics because it's an actual lore secret, but there's more to them than what I'm telling you. And yeah, if you want to do something like link your character to what the Archaics are, we can do that. We can talk about them. Basically, I'm just saying, if you want to ask more about what I'm saying, ask about them after, because this is just the general stuff that if you want to know more, ask me about later. And, okay, the reason they're on this slide with the Oracle of Strixhaven is because, okay, in Strixhaven, there is always elected one Oracle. Basically the person above the deans. As the deans are the heads of the colleges, the Oracle is basically the most, not really most powerful, but most influential out of all of them, as in they have the capability to contact the founder dragons, and, well, they are, I won't say exactly how, as that's a lore thing, but they are connected to the Archaics. As right now, the current Oracle is the one that you do see, as in the art that you do see is the current Oracle of not only Strixhaven, but they're the Oracle of all of Arcabios, if that's a sense of scale as to how influential they are. They're basically the most powerful, most influential mage at the time in the whole of Arcabios. And they're always a Strixhaven graduate. So if you want to do something like your character's goal is to become the next Oracle, or to meet the next Oracle, or to be some way linked to the Oracle of Arcabios or Strixhaven, that's something you can do. That's something we can talk about later. But yeah. Just some ideas to get your heads turning. And, well, for more structural stuff and environmental stuff, there are two specific structures that are unique to Arcabios, which are Snarls and Star Arches. Let me take a sip of water real quick. Okay, Snarls. Basically, a metaphor I've used is, if you imagine magic, as in the essence of magic all around the world of D&D, and I guess in this extension Strixhaven, if magic was a river or an ocean, Snarls are a whirlpool. It's basically in D&D, there is, I guess we can finally explain this, canon, how magic works in D&D is, there is the thing called the Weave, which is the source of all magic. Everywhere, it's where magic is drawn from. Like a sorcerer is a being where the weave basically crumpled up and gathered into a living being, and their magic is their way of like expelling the weave using their body. And like different classes, different like divine and arcane classes, manipulate the weave in their own way. Like wizards learn how to manipulate the weave, and well, like paladins and clerics are given divine magic, which is the weave being manipulated by divine energy, stuff like that. Snarls are, I guess you can say, snarls are what happens when the world itself becomes a sorcerer, like the environment. Usually, snarls are a coalition of two opposing forces. Like snarls are more of a general term. There's different types. Like there's a type of snarl where light and dark magic contradict each other and basically form into this magical whirlpool of chaotic energy. There's it's basically it's just, and then the spell plague happened. Yeah, the spell plague is a whole history lesson. We won't talk about that here. But yeah, stuff like wacky stuff happens around snarls. Like best example, wild magic. If you're near a snarl and cast magic, there's a very high likelihood that it just turns wild, or it just doesn't do something that you want, or just it becomes more powerful, it becomes less powerful, random. Like when I said that there's a chance that wild magic can happen in this campaign even if you aren't that type of sorcerer, the snarls are one way. They're chaotic magic and, well, it's pretty yeah. Yeah, you can stuff can happen in snarls, like you cast a firebolt cantrip and suddenly it becomes a 3rd level fireball. Can you drown in a snarl? Possible, I guess, yeah. Because there are it's not calm. It's literally like a whirlpool. Like there's probably a chance of like high winds, like magic just swirling around it. It's very chaotic. And if you want to do something with like as the best example here, like your character was some sort of traveler, some sort of explorer, and they happened to find the snarl. They chose to investigate it. They chose to probe deeper, see if they can find any like relics around it, and just got too close to the snarl, got absorbed into the center, woke up somewhere far away, and suddenly there's sorcery. Like that's one way you could do it. I'm just giving you all ideas if you want to actually use them. Or you can, yeah, like what I told with Sid, like maybe you found something like an ancient relic near a snarl and there's magic in it that you cannot understand, and you've made it your mission to what even is this thing and why was it near there, or like what did the chaotic magic around it do to affect this, and that's why you're studying it. Just, you can do a lot. Just talk with me, say what you want, we can probably do it. Okay, next. Contrasting snarls are star archers. Instead of being chaotic, they're more peaceful and just. Oh, okay. Star arches are more. Okay, star arches are like you can see they're like naturally occurring structures where stones and other sort of solid objects just form into this neat, pretty, and organized little archway of floating rock, whatever. No one really knows what they're meant to do. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Cal, your mic's on. No one really knows what star arches are meant for. It's rumored. Yeah. I know Arceus, yeah. I watched the Arceus movie, don't worry, Sid, I get you. The star arches are rumored. It's not confirmed, but it's rumored that they were formed when Arcabios was born from the two planes, like when the two planes fused and in specific areas star arches formed. The knowledge of what they are isn't really known. They are more spiritual, they're more mystical. Like one way is that it's rumored that during an important phase of one's life, it's very likely that person will see a star arch. Like it's stuff like if you want to be stuff like you can be like a monk and your temple was set at the base of a star arch because they're just usually mystical and they're more mysticism and spiritualism. Basically just do whatever you want with that idea if you want to go to more of that side. And yeah, I guess next step, yeah, that's pretty much a lot of things. Let me read through the book itself. See it. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Strixhaven is known to have a lot of Star Arches, and yeah, there are Star Arches on Strixhaven, as they are pretty common. Okay, now that we've moved on from the actual world, we have the next is what even is studying at Strixhaven like? Like, okay, in this part we'll just discuss like what your characters are likely to know, the different colleges, some character options, and what the in-game mechanics of Strixhaven even are. Okay, so for character creation, okay, this is mostly just me going to be reading what's or paraphrasing what's at the book.
Sorry.
First of all, in Strixhaven, like magical study, of course, your characters are going to be mages. Their primary study is about or somewhat related to magic, like yeah, pretty much nearly every. It doesn't have to be magic, the arcane. It can be also be divine magic. Like if you're studying at Lorehold, what you study, you're using magic to contact spirits. Like just because this is a magic school doesn't mean that magic is the main thing you're studying. Like I said earlier, you can be an artist who wants to know how to use magic to help in what they're trying to achieve. Magic can be primary or secondary as your form of study. It can be directly what you're studying, or it can be just something you're learning to help with what you really want to know, I guess. And next part is principles and polarities. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, we've already discussed this in like chats before, but each college is a combination of two opposing, in Magic terms, colors. In Magic the Gathering, the card game, Magic is like divided into 5 colors, which are red, blue, green, white, and black. And the colleges are basically the combination of two opposing magics. Like Lorehold is red and white, and Prismari is red and blue. They are usually contrasting, and they're a fusion, they're a dichotomy of contrasting colors. And that principle extends to how the staff runs Strixhaven. In every college, there's like not only do you choose a college, you choose or adapt one of the two, if not both, of the two opposing colors. Like in Prismari, there's blue, which represents perfection, and there's red, which represents expression. And during your time as a student in Strixhaven, you will be assigned 2 counselors of your college once you've actually joined them. Like the purpose of it being which that in Strixhaven there's a philosophy there's a philosophical principle joined in opposition. Like you might be a Lorehold student who gains one advisor, which is aligned with the red chaos side of Lorehold, who teaches you to be adventurous, to take risks, to see the unseen and uncover secrets with a reckless attitude, while you also have a white counselor, who is a counselor of order, who teaches you to be more calm, look back on lessons taught by the past, etc. As it's up to the student. Like once you choose a college, you're assigned your 2 advisors, which are the two opposing colors, and you're meant to choose which lessons you want to take to heart and which color you choose to align with more. It's basically like a sub college. It's not hard set, as you can learn from both. There's never really like of course, yeah, the deans, the teachers, the faculties are more, of course, aligned with one. Yeah, it's picking a minor. That's pretty much what it is. As most of your professors are generally leaning towards one of the 2 sides of the college rather than the other, but as a student, you can choose which side you want to align it with, if you even want to just choose just one at all. And speaking of which, yeah, that's actually a good segue to this. Learning from the colleges isn't just you choose to study at Witherbloom, you're only going to study at Witherbloom. No, in Strixhaven, you can still learn from the other colleges despite being aligned to another thing. Because yeah, it's just that you have your like Sid's comparing it to, you have your major, but you can choose to study other stuff. Like even though you're like studying at Lorehold, you can still study how the fundamentals of Quandrix. It's up to you, the character, the student, to choose what you want to learn, because this is like we said before, a university. You choose your own education. This isn't a high school where you're hand-fed what courses you want to choose. You decide what you want to learn, what kind of mage you want to be, what kind of a student you want to be, and what you want to adapt from each of the colleges. You choose one to join, but you're free to align with the teachings of the others. Just that each college has its own philosophy. Alright then, as Yasu's getting that, let me get some more water real quick. Okay then, a short break. Somebody ping. Who the fuck ping? Oh, okay then. Oh yeah, you can actually all pick your classes. Like, yes, there are actual curriculums in the book that you can choose. I have your course syllabus, and you can actually choose your classes. We're not gonna actually roleplay every single class you take, but for flavor reasons, yes, you can all pick the same classes if you really want to. Is Yatsu back yet? I'm just waiting on her then. Okay, any questions, comments so far then, while we're waiting? Yeah, oh shit, you saw that. Yeah, I still get emails. and it honestly helps that I actually am a first year in university, because I actually understand this a whole lot more now. So yes, this is actually pretty accurate to what university is like. Without the whole magic and you can date anyone, of course. Those are unrealistic. And god damn it, there's who left the cop? Hi. I see you. I saw that. Hi, okay, Yatsu's back. Okay, before we continue, any questions, any comments? All following? Can you romance the Oracle? You can try. You have to find her first. Is there a penalty for attending a class from a different college? No, actually, yeah. Yeah, that's part of... Yeah, she's also super old. Yeah, of course, when you attend a college, you're expected to prioritize or take classes from that college. But there's no actual real hard penalty for taking classes given by the other colleges, as all of the classes are taught by faculty of specific colleges. Like, Lorehold, of course, has the hold on history lessons and stuff like that, but if you want to dabble in arts a bit, there's no harm in taking a class with Prismari if you really want that, if that's part of what you want your character to be, yeah. You're free to choose most of what you want, but it's generally the expectation that you prioritize what your college specializes in. That's just, I mean, it's basically the same thing as if you're studying to be an accountant, why are you in a chemistry course? Why are you studying in a college of engineering an artist. It's basically just the same kind that same philosophy. Like if you're going to be a hotel manager, what the hell are you doing studying trains and architecture? Or maybe you are. I don't know. This analogy is following apart. Bleh. And yeah. Okay, so I guess that yeah. Take a deep breath. Yeah, people do say I talk a bit fast, and yeah, that's part. Okay. Faculty, yeah, I pretty much explained already that. In Strixhaven, yeah, there's stuff like there's instructors, there's professors, there's pretty much everything a standard university would have. And yeah, there are ranks to the faculty. Professors outrank instructors. Instructors basically are basic teachers, while professors are the ones who are actually specialized in. And yeah, there are people who can retire from professors, and they're called mage emeritus, and that's just some side lore. Yeah, sorority plotline. I can make one really. Okay, I guess. Students. Okay, so for students, yeah, can you become a teacher after you graduate? Yes, actually, because yeah, that's part of what I'm gonna bullet that says students. Yeah, because okay, so for students, you already know that Sid. Yeah, okay, so if people read those comments and there's something about D&D, they're probably gonna be so confused, but alright. Okay, so you already know that you choose your college in your second year. First years are usually the same. They can still choose to specialize in stuff, and we'll discuss the specific backgrounds later and how that affects things. But yeah, they're learning the school, and yeah, I already talked about how students are assigned to counselors. God damn it. I'm just gonna ignore those for now. And yeah, basically, yeah, the purpose of your first year is to just learn what you want to be. And after Strixhaven, after Strixhaven, since it's a 4-year study, most people do choose to graduate and do whatever it is you want to do. Like every student usually will have one reason or another for attending Strixhaven, and well, just finishing 4 years in Strix. You know what? Let me just change what screen I'm streaming so not the entire screen shows up. And nope, the black thing there. That's why I'm not streaming. Just the... Okay, fine. You can see those. Okay, so basically, yeah, if you graduate from Strixhaven, it's basically a privilege, and if you want to, yeah, you can become a teacher at Strixhaven. It is that, and being a Strixhaven alumni is a big thing. Like, if just graduating from Strixhaven, if you want to get into anything magic, it's pretty much a game. There's anyone with a brain who's associated with working with magic, any organization, association who utilizes magic, if they see a Strixhaven alumni graduate apply to them, that's pretty much a guarantee to get hired and stuff like that. It's a big deal, basically, if you graduate from Strixhaven. And yeah. And yeah, it does say here that few alumni return to Strixhaven sooner or later as instructors themselves, and a small select number join the Dragon's Guard. Yeah, Dragon's Guard is one association, from the name, work directly with the founder dragons themselves. Like if you graduate from Strixhaven and choose to work for the Dragon's Guard, you can directly work under the founder dragons, because they do their own thing outside the school. That's part of what you can do after you graduate. But that's after 4 years. You have plenty of time to decide what you want to do after you graduate. And yeah, the next part of this power plane is just basically going to be just an aesthetic board. Get the feel of... Yeah, I basically agree with doing something like a vibe board where you can just see images that relate to what the campaign is going to feel like. Okay, let me drink some water real quick. Like here on the left, you can see the Biblioplex, which is the central library on campus. At the very center of the Strixhaven University is the Biblioplex, which is rumored... Well, this is what the characters would know. Rumored to contain every known spell in the multiverse, knowledge of them. So yeah, any spell you can probably think of, there's probably somewhere in the Biblioplex where you can learn or read about it. And it's the most enormous map. Even yeah, maybe. Like, maybe not the spell itself, but history of it, at least. Like, sure, the knowledge of the spell itself was banished. But yeah, copying... Yeah, you probably need a pass, stuff like that, but... If you want to do stuff like learn spells, like, as how the wizard works... learning spells from the Biblioplex and actually writing them down in your spell book can be something you can do, yeah, but it does. First of all, you need a library pass, and just you work your way towards being able to do that. You don't get it automatically. Like one way you can probably do that is get a job at the Biblioplex. Like that's one incentive for you to actually work there rather than just study. You don't get, there are different like levels of archive, like Cloistered Scholar apply here, the background feature. It helps, yeah. If you want to go that route, be a book nerd. It's a big library, and of course, for very obvious reasons, not every spell is accessible to the commons. Because you don't want your basic level 1 first years casting Fireball throughout the campus all the time. But yeah. And on the right you can see what's basically the uniform of the first years. By the way, just checking, is Snow still with us? You hear Snow? Just checking. Haven't seen Snow chat in a while. Well, at least... Oh, I need to let this candle cast Fireball. Yeah. Snow, you here? Just checking if she can even be here. She's online, says. Oh, luckily we're recording this. Anyway. Okay, then. Basically, yeah. And what you see there on the right is first years generally share the same uniform. Like, this is basically what first year students look like. They all generally wear this garb, yeah. Yeah, that's a bit... It says she's online though, so probably at least have connection. Maybe she just put down her phone. Well, I guess if we're recording this, we can just send her the file recording later. But yeah, first years generally wear this kind of clothing. It's what they look like, and just okay. And well, here's just some images as what studying at Strixhaven looks. Just vibe boards. Yes, Sid. Is raising your hand just gonna be the thing to call the DM's attention? Does the uni have strict dress codes? Okay, that's a good question, because first years are generally expected to wear the first year uniform. But once you get into your colleges at your second year, just follow the pattern, and there's usually not the dress code isn't too strict. Like first years do have a uniform, yes, that is established. Like if you are a first year, it's you can wear other stuff for stuff like extracurriculars and jobs if you want. But if you're attending class, you follow the dress code of what the first year wear if you are a first year. Once you get to your colleges, however, just they have their own aesthetic, but they're a lot more freeform with what they allow you to wear. Because yeah, I mean, you can't really generalize a uniform when there are elephant people, there are halflings, there's full trolls. But yeah, first years have a uniform, but once you get to your colleges at your second year, you're pretty much just wear something that tells people what college you are, and pretty much good. And just here's some stuff at what's studying in Strixhaven. At the left, you can see what are probably school students, and at the right, you can first years who, like, well, not first years, but just some young students that are starting to learn what college they want to be. And just some extra stuff that you can see, and yeah. Okay, yeah. Here's another thing, like communicating and hanging out with other students from other colleges is allowed. Just because you are in a college, this doesn't mean you're restricted to only hanging out with that. Like you're free to mingle with whoever you want on campus. Yeah. Like you can be a silver quill who is friends with Lorehold, but because yeah, of course, this is school. There is a sort of social groups. There are social groups, of course. Like it's generally expected that those of the same college are more likely to hang out with each other than those from different colleges. But yeah, you're not restricted to only being in the groups of your own college. And I guess next is yeah. Here's just some more stuff. Ice cream, nice. Okay, first of all, colleges. Like, okay, we've discussed this a lot of times before, but just in case, the 5 colleges are Lorehold, Prismari, Quandrix, Silverquill, and Witherbloom. That's a big ass frog. Like, yeah. Here's just some details as to specific, like, yeah, you already know this, but just in case, yeah. Like Lorehold explores the past, preserves lessons for the future, called the College of Archaeomancy. Prismari uses elements to practice art, College of Elemental Arts. Quandrix focuses on the mathematics of nature. Okay, Snow's here. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Snow? Is there like choppy over there? Okay, then. You can listen in then. Stay safe. Stay safe there, of course. Prioritize yourself. If you have to leave, leave. Alright. Okay, good. And we were just talking about what the school is like, just some background stuff. And Quandrix, yeah, mathematics, College of Numeromancy, Silverquill. Yeah, Silverquill, yeah, teaches the magic of rhetoric, poetry, oration, writing. The College of Eloquence. Witherbloom harnesses the forces of life and death, and is the College of Essence Studies. Okay, rough. Okay, now we're going to the colleges themselves. Like I said, these colleges are your choice once you reach second year. But the College of Fanfic Writers. Yup, that's true. I can't even. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Yeah, even though you do choose your college at your second year because of stuff like the specific the backgrounds you choose for your character that are each of the 5 colleges, you can be someone like you know how in real life you have people, high school students who are studying exams to get into a specific university. Like they know which university, which course they're going to enroll in at the very start. That's basically what the backgrounds are like. Like, oh wow. Yeah, that's basically what those backgrounds are like. If you can be a first year who's set on joining Lorehold. Like you don't even wait. Your second year is just by the time you step on campus, you know I'm gonna study at Lorehold. That's what the backgrounds are. Yeah, that the name is very on the nose. And yep, Lorehold, their motto is "Leave no stone unturned." They are represented by the colors red and white. Red representing chaos, the more chaotic, like Indiana Jones type of exploration of revealing the unknown and uncovering knowledge. And there is white, which represents order, which keeps things in an orderly manner by learning from the mistakes of the past to better improve the future. That's the dichotomy of Lorehold. And yeah, and if you're curious, this is what their uniform looks like, or generally just what their aesthetic looks like. They're very much heavy on explorers, practical wear, stuff they can pockets, scrolls. Oh, that's at least nice. Final Fantasy region. Yeah, they're more of a practical over aesthetic type of uniform, because they do field work a lot. They do excavations, they do on the field research, etc. They're researchers. And well, here's what their campus looks like. Oh, hey mom. Here's what their campus looks like, which is they do live in a screenshot. Yeah. I'm gonna send you all the PDF or the PowerPoint of what all this looks like. Yeah. Lorehold College is set in mostly a desert area where there is a ravine, and they dig a lot. They have an MC ravine base. Oh. And well, here's just some extra verses. What they look like are like a Lorehold student. Just their aesthetic is basically a lot of scrolls. Like when they're casting their magic, they can. Strixhaven favors a lot of reflay. Like if you're like a Lorehold student and you're casting a spell, you can open a scroll and actual spirits of the past come out of that scroll and come to life as the spell. And okay, mascots. Each college does have a mascot, and in Lorehold, statues you can see on the right. Not all of them are that big, and not all of them are human. Lorehold, as they're basically a college mascot, are the spirit statues, who are actual spirits of the past, who come to life as the statues and can do stuff like just help around the school, or even just be full-on professors. If you're taking a class with a Lorehold professor, it's not unlikely that that professor is just someone who died, like, and is just there alive as a statue teaching that class. I think that's what Lorehold is there about that. Like, yep, they also have this animal on the left called a Relic Sloth, who they use to carry around their gear and equipment. Yeah, so like the ghost from Harry Potter, basically. This is not Harry Potter for the purposes of copyright, but yes, it is. And yeah, they're heavy on scroll aesthetic. Okay, next the gay college, Prismari. Oh, hey, Mingy.
Hi, dang! Is that water fire?
Yeah. Okay, Barry Potter. Yeah, Prismari.
Hey,
yeah, the college of the elemental arts. Their motto is "Express yourself with the elements." Their colors are blue, representing perfection, and the whole attitude, the mindset of perfecting your art down to the last detail, and being and then red is expression, a more free form. And oh damn, murder mosquito. Red is more of expression, more of the beauty in art. Rather, they're the more abstract belief, while blue focuses on the perfecting of your art. Red is the expressing of your. I'm sure you can all probably get, the artists here actually probably get a more better explanation than me, but that's stuff like that. They're Prismari is probably the most likely to not follow code. Because this is like the general expectation of what their uniform looks like, but they can really just be whatever you want them, as long as they colors and you can identify someone as Prismari. But here's just some examples of the uniform. Like, just look at it, imagine what your character might look like. Feel free to customize what you want. Their college, would have to make color of them. Okay, that is something you can do. Yeah, like if you are primary aligning to a color, you can choose focus on that color, but most students express the colors of both sides, as they are when they are entering their second year. They're still not fully decided on what specific alignment they want to be. So it's generally the general expectations that the students wears both colors. They want to, they can choose. You can customize your outfit if you like, but yeah, most students do express both colors, but there are some that express just one of them. But it's up to you. Like I said, this is what you want to specialize in. And yeah, their actual campus looks like this, which has a lot of swirls. Oh, hey, the music changed. It has a lot of swirls, and it's just a lot of. They're very expressive. Just a lot of chaos, a lot of gloomy and colorful. That's honestly a very accurate description of them. As they are perfectionists, like Prismari are perfectionists. Mostly the blue side, of course, as very obvious. They perfect their art, and they can be harsh critics to themselves, as of course the more blue aligned are those who choose to actually perfect their skills, their art, etc., etc. While the red are more the chaotic free spirits who just want to do art for the sake of art. They knew what they were doing when doing this. And here's just some examples of what, like on the left you can see a Prismari student just use water in a performative art, and on the right you can see either the elemental mascot of the school with elemental, or just one example of what Prismari art looks like. They use the elements to express their art. And on the left, yep, you can see Hi, look away, but a half-orc riding on an element. Time to brush my spells in thin air. Yeah, that is something you can do. Like, that's just the purpose of what this mood board is. Like, what does your character look like when casting your spells? Feel free to flavor. Flavor is highly recommended. And on the right, yep, you can see one of the new Owlin. Small-sized Owlin Prismari just, casting a spell. Feel free to flavor, like when I said with Lorehold, you rolls to cast your spells. Prismari, most of you are artists here. I trust you can come up with a way to make yourself look unique if you do join Prismari. Okay, next, Quandrix. The class probably everyone doesn't want to be. Math is magic. That's their motto. Their colors are green, which represents substance, and blue, which represents theory. As Quandrix, basically, what if we combined nature and tech? That's the fusion. That's why they're green and blue. They are mathematicians, but they're also nature researchers. They study the patterns of nature and learn from it to invent the future. As green is the College of Substance, which basically is more of the more nature-aligned Quandrix, and blue is theory, which is more of the future-aligned. Basically, green, which is natural, blue, which is artificial. And their uniform looks like this. More of Quandrix is all about. They're big on geometry, fractals, patterns, lines, angles, math. They look like math. They are walking math. Like if you do, like this is what they're. Yep, kill all of them. And well, their campus looks like this: a bunch of fractals, floating megastructures. They are they're a mix of nature and modern. Yeah, their campus is basically like the Earth, but if meme society, if only blank. That's Quandrix. And yeah, and you can see the like, if you can see the students at the bottom of the image, that's a size reference of how big the colleges are. Like the students on the road, yeah, that's how big you are. Here's some examples. Here's another Alan summoning. The mascot of Quandrix are fractal. Basically, they are creatures made of light and math. Yeah, that's Quandrix. Fractals are the college mascots, and they can be anything: cat to a dragon to a wolf, whatever. They are made of math and light. No, they are not the crystal gems, but they might save the day. And yeah, you can see on the left, which is just an Owlin summoning fractals, and on the right you can see, on the right is basically an example of what the green aligned Quandrix look like. So on the left is probably blue, on the right is probably green. Here's just another one, and as you can see, yep, that's like what. Okay, reflavoring Quandrix spells can be very fun. As on the left is what it looks like when the green aligned Quandrix is casting a spell. Like if you want to be a Quandrix druid, you can summon and guide like fallen leaves to form a fractal pattern and cast a spell through the center. Or if you're more of a blue aligned Quandrix, literally reality itself shatters around you. I trust Sid to know this more than anyone. You can look like Doctor Strange. If you want to cast your spells like Doctor Strange, Quandrix. That's just watch the Doctor Strange movie and you can see what Quandrix looks like. That's basically the best example that I know. Okay, to Silverquill. And I can feel high typing already. Silverquill, sharp style, sharper wit. They're the eloquent college. Their colors are what? Okay, hi. Their colors are white and black. White representing radiance, where they believe that words can inspire, connect, and empower others. Black is learning how to sharpen your words into a weapon that can strike down all your foes. So, very, very much polar opposites, as black and white are. A radiant Silverquill will be an inspiring leader, one who gathers their allies and empowers them with their own inspirational speech, while Shadow Silverquills are diss track makers. What am I? They write diss tracks on their enemies. It's very obviously a lot of bards study here for obvious reasons. And this is what their uniform looks like, though you don't have to follow them yet. They're very monochromatic, as you can see. Sexy. They're very black and white. Here's one thing about Silver, probably important for you to know. They are pompous. Like, if you don't have a fashion sense, you're gonna get bullied. They're very harsh on each other and everyone else. Like, if you can't walk up to school looking like you just won the next Miss Universe, you're gonna get criticized for your looks. Like, they're very vain, some of them, as they're the edgelords. They're the mean girls of Strixhaven. That's what Silverquill is. Like, if you can't impress them, you're not joining them, at least in their eyes. I can tell how soon it is. Found the Valley Girls. Yup, the Valley Girls will probably be in Silverquill. And this is what their campus looks like. They're very, I guess, is it Victorian, the word? They look like England. They look like a train station. Also looks dusty. I am not. It looks Roman, Italian. I'm not an architecture nerd. Yeah, just this is what their style is. And here's some examples of what they look like in just some old London. That's the vibe I get as well. Yeah, they're very like you can just get the mood from what this looks like. On the left you see a professor, on the right you see some more harsh students. They're British. And on the right, yep, the mascots of Silverquill are the Inklings. No, not the not the Splatoon ones. They're basically living ink. They're basically just bloomy. They're living ink and they're generally mischievous. They're pranksters. Their body is like literally just ink. So if you try to slash a sword through them, you might cut one in half and it just reforms later. And well, and on the right, yep, Silverquill. They can be both black and white. Like, yeah, you can. Okay, on the right is basically what you can see. Like, they're not all black. There's the radiant side of Silverquill still exists, and they can be inspiringly. Like, if you want to really hurt someone's ego, party with a Silverquill. They know the right words. Okay, and, well, last but not least, Witherbloom. Get your hands dirty. Represented by the colors, black representing decay, and green representing growth. They're pretty easy to understand what the dichotomy is. They're life and death. Decay is basically death, obviously, and green is growth, life. They're druids. They don't have to be druids, but they're the closest thing to a druid. Nature. The temptation. I can feel snow resisting on it. But yeah. And if you want to see their uniforms, they're very moody. Like, the whole thing about Witherbloom, if you value fashion, don't go to Witherbloom, you will get dirty. Like, everything is basically a lab experiment. If you care about cleanliness, don't go here. You literally study in a swamp. But yeah, they're also like Laurel, they're pretty practical. But the drugs. Silverquill and Witherbloom, they can probably get into some arguments. While Silverquill speaks, Witherbloom does. And yeah, they're very practical, and very obviously they wear some thick clothing to keep all the dirt from them. But yeah, they're very practical, as a lot of the day-to-day life of Witherbloom is just experiments, day after day. If something fails, and it's splashed on you. And yeah, this is what their campus looks like, and it's literally a swamp. Alright, class, let's swim a swamp to learn the basics of water life. That's pretty much what a Silverquill, not Silverquill, Witherbloom class looks like. Or, yep, you're Shrek. Shrek is a Witherbloom. I'm sorry to say it. And yeah, it's pretty much... Who's gonna play an ogre? You can play a full orc. And yeah, here's what the students look like. They're not all crazy, but you kind of have to have some level of negative sanity to study in Witherbloom. They're cray cray. A lot of them are they experiment on life in a morally ambiguous way. And here's, on the left, believe it or not, is a professor. And that's one of your professors if you choose to study Witherbloom. And just on the right is just just some example of what your uniform can look like. Remember when I said literal living trees exist on this campus? Jeez fucking Cthulhu. I mean, I hope Cthulhu's having a good time at least. And yeah, I guess that's most of the colleges for now, and, well, next up in... Yeah. Here you see the main the central campus, which is though just at the center of where everything else is. It's the campus center where most of the first years tend to hang out, as it's just a neutral ground for everyone, any college. If you actually look at the horizon, you can see the biblioplex. But yeah, this is the Archway Commons. Basically, this is where you'll all start at. This is where your characters will first step on campus and meet each other. This is where session 1 will take place. Once you step on to this location, you are officially a student of Strixhaven. Yeah, this is where you'll all start. This is the Archway Commons. And yeah, we've already seen the map, but yeah. Woo! Yeah. Just like yeah. And yeah, Strixhaven is huge. It's for first years. There's a reason that they only to the central campus, because oh boy, is it very big. And you can see at the center of the whole campus is the biblioplex, and you can see the 5 bridges, the other colleges. And there's a lot of buildings. It's basically Strixhaven is basically its own city. Atlas and Ruby is Silver Quill. Yeah, and yeah, here's some concept art of the different mascots. On the top left, what a fractal dog looks like. On the bottom left, you can see what an elemental quadruped looks like. On the top right, you see the grubs, or yeah, fractal dog. That's Quandrix. The Quandrix mascots are fractals, which are creatures made of hard light, basically. Yeah, on the top right, you see the grubs. On the bottom right, you see Silverquill. On the center, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's just... And yes, you can have one of these as your familiar if you choose to take the feat. So, if you want a pet, and one of these looks interesting to you, they can be your familiar. Yes, even a sentient statue can be your familiar, if you really want to. And I actually do like that about Lore, is that the statues are actually pretty fucking smart. Like, there's a chance they might actually have better skill checks than you. Like, the spirit statues have like what, a +5 Arcana and a +5 Investigation. When I checked their sheets. Yeah, that. Not when you choose to take the Knowledge College, they're very knowledgeable. They're smart. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much just the mood boards. And I'll send the PowerPoint and the PDF later if you want to look at them again. Yeah, well, everything else is pretty much like an anno or like on just your standard creature familiar. The statues stand out that way, literally because they also stand up on 2 legs. But they can be animals too, if you really want that. Okay, character options. Okay, now that we've gone over to pretty much everything you really need to know about Strixhaven, till we ask questions later. Character options. First up, we have the Owlin. If you haven't seen yet, oh shit. Yeah, she gets found. If you haven't seen yet, this is what the Owlin looks like. Owlin in Strixhaven are canonically descendant from the giant owls of the Feywild, so even though they are Fey heritage, they are still humanoid. And well, what's unique about them is their silent wings. They can fly very, very stealthily. They have silent feathers, which means stealth proficiency. They have a flying speed equal to their walking speed, which is feet. They have, and if you actually notice, that the Owlin's dark vision is actually twice the range of normal dark vision. Although they don't get the hint, they don't actually get sunlight sensitivity. They have 120 feet dark vision without sunlight sensitivity, which is unique to them. And you can choose to be medium or small size if you want to be. Their stat bonuses are like every other of the new races, +2 to 1 stat of your choice, +1 to another, or +1 to 3 stat. Choose. Yep, that's actually why they're pretty popular in Strixhaven. it's very common to see Owlin students and Owlin professors work at the Biblioplex because their wings are just silent and make them very, very effective workers there. Okay, here's some of the backgrounds. Okay, now that we're finished with pretty much everything you need to know about lore, here's some of the backgrounds. Like, here's the 5 college backgrounds, which are very obviously the most broken thing about this book is that the backgrounds of the colleges give you not only a feat, but an expanded spell list at level 1 if you choose them. Don't worry for those who choose not to take these backgrounds. I homebrew an option for all of you. But yeah, if you choose to be a lorehold student, you get stuff like history and religion proficiency, 2 languages of your choice, plus everything contained here, like you get the Strixhaven Initiate feat, we'll talk about that later, and spells like Comprehend Languages, Identify, Borrow Knowledge, the unique spell, Spirit Guardians, Stone Shape, Flame Strike, Legend Lore, and a lot of other stuff. And here's some, and the text on the bottom is just like, basically what I said earlier about... Yeah, that's part of what I was, yeah. Like on the bottom here, you can see just what reflavoring your spells can be like. Like it says here, lorehold can flavor their spells to look like the appearance of golden scrolls. Also, you can it's a lot. 3 characters with an owl concept. Here's what Prismari looks like. You get acrobatics and performance. And you get spells like Chromatic Orb, Thunder Wave, Flaming Sphere, Haste, Freedom of Movement, and Conjure Elemental, stuff like that. Oh boy, Haste. Yeah. Arlay, I think you're gonna be a buffer. Yep, you get Haste. And yeah, there's just a lot of text here that you can read if you want, but I won't go over all of them. Quandrix, you get skills like in Arcana and Nature. And you can get spells like Entangle, Guiding Bolt, holy shit, Enlarge Reduce. Also Haste, they also get Haste. Though, if Sid's choosing Artificer, he gets it later. Circle of Power, Freedom of Movement, a lot of spells. The spell lists are pretty good. And yeah, it just says here, like, basically what says here in, like, Quandrix character and what it suggests for your spells to look like, that's what I told you all earlier. Flavored spells. Silver Quill gets Intimidation. Oh damn. And they get more of the verbal or mind effect and Dissonant Whisper. Darkness. Oh boy. They get Darkness and Daylight. They get Compulsion, Dominate Person, and yeah, more of the crowd control stuff. Not too offensive as they use their words mostly. No. And for Witherbloom, you get proficiency in Nature and Survival, well, also in Herbalism proficiency, and you can actually get Cure Wounds if you choose the background, and Inflict Wounds. While Lesser Restoration, Wither and Bloom, Vampiric Touch, Death Ward, Greater Restoration. It's just a lot of spells that deal with restoring or afflicting harm. And yeah, they get Revivify. So that's one way to automatically get Revivify prepared no matter what. Can I make Healing Coffee? Probably. And okay, now we get to feats. Okay, if you choose one of the 5 Strixhaven backgrounds, this is the feat you're going to get alongside it. It's basically Magic Initiate, but with a couple stuff. You get the Strixhaven Initiate feat, and get if you choose a specific college, you're locked to what spells that college gives you. So if you choose the Silver Quill background, you get you choose 2 cantrips from Sacred Flames, Thaumaturgy, and Vicious Mockery, and you get to choose 1 first level Bard or Cleric spell you can cast without a spell slot. Darkness. Yeah, that's something you can do. Yeah. So if you choose Strixhaven Initiate, you're locked to what these are. Now here's the interesting thing. Okay, like sure, you can take one of the wizard spells that learn Find Familiar if you want. Although you might want to wait to learning Find Familiar, because if you have this feat and choose later the second feat, which has the prerequisite of being 4th level and having, this is how you can get one of the mascots as your familiar. Actually a feat tree. You have to first have the first feat and then this feat stack on top of it. If you want to have spirit statues, the art element, fractals, the inklings, or the pests as your actual familiar that can aid you in everything a familiar can do. And plus, you can do stuff like, if you can choose to not attack yourself once and have your familiar attack. Yep, they can attack. They each have, this stacks with Steel Defender. That would be correct. That does stack. You can have 2 things following you at once. Or your Steel Defender is your fractal. Maybe. Let's see. We'll see. There's a lot of things we can do. So yeah, that's also that one thing that's neat. Yeah, you can attack with them as well, or you can use an action to teleport into their space, and they teleport into yours. You can do stuff like stuff like the Inklings have a flying speed. If you want, you can use them to scout out an area, put them in the safe space, use your action to teleport to them, and just get around the hard-to-reach areas by having a mascot being able to teleport to your space. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Like, the fractal mascots, one of their unique things is Quandrix. They can change their size. They can get all the way to a huge size, which is, you know how big the Titan was in Den of the Serpent King? That's how big one of the fractals can get. Or they can be really tiny, like a rat size. Yeah, that's one reason you might want to choose them. Because it's fractal. Yeah. Let me just... Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much what they do. Okay, for spells, okay, here are the new spells. Did the bot die? God damn it. Yeah, that's... Okay, here are the spells that... Okay, in this book, there are five new spells that you can get for free with the backgrounds, but they are available to multiple classes. So if you do choose to be a wizard while not being in Silver Quill, you can choose Silver, stuff like that, and yeah, they are available to learn from everything else. And I'll hear what they do. Silvery barbs. I do have some changes to this because it is pretty powerful as itself. Silvery barbs, basically, if something succeeds on a D20 roll and reaction, and give them disadvantage. And it's available to bards, sorcerers, and wizards. And you can also use that disadvantage to give someone else a... The one edit I will make is, first of all, I'll count this spell as a charm, so anything immune or resist charms can resist it. And I'm not sure yet about this, because I am looking... For now, I'm willing, because this spell is a bit controversial, because it's broken. How to use it. It's caused some controversy in a lot of places. But yeah, I'm gonna allow the spell to be used as written. But one change I might have it is that I might make it so that the creature has to understand a language on it. just some restrictions because as it is now, it is pretty powerful for a first level spell. But for now, I'll allow it for the sake of just how much you can abuse it. Yeah, this is a Silver Coal spell. For Lorehold, you get Borrowed Knowledge as a second level spell. You don't have you have an athletic game you want to attend, but you're pretty short on athletics. Well, summon this. You're taking an exam and you're bad at math. Just summon and gain proficiency in a skill. Pretty versatile. And okay, next. Kinetic Jaunt for those who choose Prismari or learn it from Prismari. As a bonus action, you can people from other classes. Yes, that is one thing. Though, okay, one thing if you want, okay, that is one thing I was gonna talk about when I finish these spells. If you want to learn a spell from another college, I'm gonna say that you have to actually ask around and take classes or befriend someone from that college to teach you the spell. Not just if you level up, you get it. I'll actually wait for you to approach me and say, hey, I want to learn this spell from this college. Let's set this up for me to learn it. And yeah, so that you actually... Material components on Borrowed Knowledge? What say it here? Material components, a book worth at least 25 gold pieces. To have a book. So you need to actually have a book, Borrowed Knowledge, which is, yeah, most things. Don't worry about cost because if you play in secret and you think, oh, that's quite expensive, this campaign gives a lot of money. For Prismari, you have Kinetic Jaunt, which is basically move, bitch, get out the way. You can move as much as you want without taking your speed increases. So you can basically just move anywhere you want without anything interrupting you. Yeah, pretty much that. You do that. As a bonus action, too. For Quandrix, you get Vortex Warp, basically. You can teleport someone 90 feet away. Or yourself, or someone else. It's basically just a teleport. It's Misty Step, but you can do it on others. And it's also longer. You can go all the way to 90, rather than just the 30 of Misty Step, but it is a full action. And more. Imagine if someone played a sorcerer with Distance Spell and teleported someone 180. That is something you can legally do. For Witherbloom, they get Wither and Bloom. Wow, how on to the Witherbloom gets Wither and Bloom? Basically, it's actually a pretty neat spell because it's AoE. It does damage, and it also heals at the same time. It withers and blooms. Wow, very original, Wizards of the Coast. Yeah. So it's basically an AoE. It's an AoE 2d6. Is it the best damage? But in exchange, one creature can roll their hit die plus your spellcasting modifier and heal an amount of HP. So if you like use Wither and Bloom on a barbarian, they heal for D12 plus your casting mod, which is honestly pretty neat. Hit dice is not a mechanic used a lot, and if you have hit die to spend, yeah, you can. Well, it does damage as well, so it's not the best healing and it's not the best damage, but if you want to do both at the same time, this spell lets you do that. Okay, any questions so far? Before we move on to more of the in-game mechanics. We're pretty close to done. Yeah, exactly, Sid. So yeah, it's situational, but in the situation where you do need it, like one example is two creatures are surrounding an unconscious. Well, just blast those two creatures and heal that unconscious party member at the same turn. Like, yeah, it can be useful when it comes up. Anyone have anything to ask before we move on to the in-game mechanics? Why choose healing and damage when you can do both? Will an Eldritch Knight... Yeah, as long as you have the spell slots for them. As long as you have the spell slots for them, yes. Okay. Can people from... Wait, what was... Can people from other colleges learn college spells? Yeah. That's basically... yeah, you don't have to be like... You don't have to be a Witherbloom to learn Wither and Bloom. It's available to the classes of Druid, Sorcerer, and Wizard. But if you choose the college background, you can get that spell no matter what class you are. So like Wither and Bloom is available to Druid. But if you're a Witherbloom Wizard with the Witherbloom background, you can also get it despite not being one of those 3 classes. That's one advantage of actually picking it from the background. You get it no matter what class you are. If you aren't one of those colleges, Borrowed Knowledge the only one with material component. Wither and Bloom has a but shit. I think let me check. Wither and Bloom has you can use a focus, basically it's a basic component. Vortex Warp is verbal and somatic. Kinetic Jaunt is only somatic. Borrowed Knowledge is all 3. Silvery Barbs is just verbal. So yeah, pretty much. So Borrowed Knowledge and the okay, yeah. Expensive bitches. Okay. Is that all then? Yeah, we're pretty much close to done. Yep. Alright, we're moving on then. Next up to the in-game mechanics. Oh boy. So this is where we actually get technical now. So first of all, we'll discuss the tracking sheet. Because if there weren't already enough trackables, you have to keep track of a report card. Because yes, you, yay. Hey, if you want, you can actually, if you really want, you can actually I can just send you the image of this and you can actually get it out. But yeah, in this tracking sheet, you will be keeping track of relationships, your report cards, your clubs, your jobs. Drops out. It's not as bad as it seems. Relationships is just if you're in a relationship, put that in. You gain specific points and inspiration because I don't. Yeah, I can send this to all of you. Don't worry. But yeah, for relationships, you can just yes, it says plural. And okay, here's the thing: relationships doesn't have to be romantic. It can be friendly acquaintances. But if you choose to become a beloved with an NPC, you get... Yeah, there is a digital version. That's how I got it. Don't worry. If you do choose to become beloveds, you can get one of the... Well, in the boxes here. Inspiration. You can check mark inspiration. If you have... Can we add our party members in the... If you can do it naturally... I might allow it. Depends, we'll see. Honestly, it doesn't seem like it's broken, to be fair. But that is one thing. As friends. Yeah, you can. It's just that the most benefits you'll get are with Beloved. For report cards, we can discuss this when you actually need to get to exams, but basically in exams, I'll just ask you, once the exam results are done, to keep track of which exams you succeeded and which exams failed. Because yes, you can succeed and fail on exams. And it leaves a visible record. So study well, students, because we are in school. Time to fail and die. Exams are another topic we can discuss later. For extracurriculars and jobs, basically, if you do have a club and a job, just list what name it is, and you can list like the skills and because okay, For extracurriculars, which are your clubs, they give you a boost to your skills. For jobs, you get money. That's basically the difference between those two. Plus, they give you relationship points, which just who happens to be working. You fail some spontaneous combustion. Yes, okay, that's a question. You can choose either 2 clubs, 2 jobs, or 1 club and 1 job, without punishment. I can allow you to get like 3, but it might leave you exhausted by the end if you choose to spread yourself thin. You know what I mean. But the general max without punishment is, yeah, you can choose 1 of each, 2 of 1, and yeah. Dragon chest and coffee shop. Yeah, pretty much. So extracurriculars give you a boost to your skills, and jobs give you money that you can use to buy stuff. Because yep, you can buy stuff in campaign. Okay, for stuff like student die, yeah, student die is a mechanic which is basically, if you studied this specific thing, or if you learn it from a club, you can add a D4 to a skill that you chose based on what you chose to enroll in. So here's the options you have if you want to choose the extracurriculars with clubs. There's the Dead Languages Society, the side of arts. Basically, I didn't put them all here because it'll actually be its own session. Choosing your clubs, choosing your jobs, I'll let that be like a once you actually want to do, where you can actually roleplay out and stuff like, yep, you can roleplay a character, role-playing a character in this game. Because yeah, stuff might affect your decision, like which NPC chose what job and which NPC works where. That might influence you. So I say you can have an idea what you want to be, but final decisions can be up to like whatever session we actually decide. Because he won't start automatically in one. Yeah. So just here's the place where you can have jobs. Here's the clubs. Okay, so for exams, exams are gonna be, how they work is they're divided into the studying phase and the testing phase. The studying phase is basically just, it's mostly roleplay, as a lot of this campaign is like, yeah, this campaign is gonna be mostly roleplay. A lot of mechanics benefit off of you role-playing how you want to do them, and just generally it's up to me. For studying, you can just choose like how you want to study, like it's gonna be based on what exams you want. Yeah, as you can read here, you can choose what way you want to study, and I can decide what skill check that will apply. And if you study well, you get a reroll during the exams. If you roll badly on the exams, if you study well, you can actually get the benefit of a reroll. For the studying phase, there are 3 options you can use that are more than just studying by yourself. You can pull an all-nighter. You can study together with an NPC or each other. If it's with an NPC, you can possibly develop your that, or you can just skip studying. Now, if you question like, why would I skip studying? Well, that's up to me to come up with a reason why. Maybe a specific character you like wants to hang out somewhere, and that conflicts with your time to study. Study first, or do you choose to pursue what you want, or something happens, or like you're at a job and your manager calls you to work overtime, which just like the simulations, your manager calls you to work overtime, which kind of, do I work overtime and employer, or do I go back to studying? That's one reason why I want. And there are mechanics to this, but what I want to do is, at least for your first set of exams, I want you to discover how these mechanics actually choose to try them. Like, if you've actually done all of this together in real life, if you've actually pulled an all-nighter, you might have an idea as to how they can work in game. But I want to wait and see until you actually choose to try them to reveal how they exist. So for the exam phase, it's a skill check, but it's mostly a roleplay encounter tied to a skill check. And the testing phase, yep, you have the ability checks for the test. You can choose to cheat. There are mechanics for cheating if you want to cheat on an exam tell me, and we can roll that. If you fail an exam, well, you fail and stuff happens. But if you succeed on an exam, you do get student die, which basically, like I said earlier, is a D4 you can add to a skill check that helps you in well, doing skills. And well, there's other benefits to exams. Exams can do stuff like if part of the exam is like studying a specific monster and you ace that exam, if you pull an all-nighter because you don't have that, yeah, I can do that. You probably, yeah, I'll let you have one thing, yeah. Yeah, I have one way to. If I tell you, I would be telling how the mechanic works, but you will have an advantage over someone who does need to sleep. I'll just tell you that. Yeah. If your race doesn't require you to sleep and you pull an all-nighter, I'll just say it benefits you way more than someone who does need to sleep. Sure. Okay, like I was saying, if for example, like you're studying for an exam and you actually you got a perfect score on that exam about a specific monster, you later encounter in the campaign that specific monster you studied for an exam and you ace the test about, you get a specific advantage on that monster. Yeah, yeah, that's one way. Ace an exam, reputation can, yeah, it's all roleplay. Yeah, that can work. Ace an exam, gain reputation with a teacher the subject. Yeah, that's one way you can get the eye of a teacher. Yes, teacher's pet. And yeah, student dies that mechanic. Well, basically, I'm just giving you all the basics because I told you exactly how everything. We'd be here for another 2 hours, but this is pretty much, I think. Yeah, this is pretty much the last thing we need to discuss before we get to house rule. Yeah, if you've all studied in school IRL, if you have knowledge of how school works IRL, it probably works similar here. Okay, for house rules. Okay, this time, instead of rolling for stats, we'll be doing an array method. At least this is... If you're really against it, fine. But I want to use this array method. Three stats you can choose from: the generalist, the prodigy, and the specialist. And if you do notice, yeah, they are lower than what we allow. I do that for multiple reasons. One, there's going to be 6 of you in this campaign. 2, you guys are young students, which means you are usually not meant to be as powerful, fully grown, fully experienced adventurers capable with their skills. So, yeah. And plus, maybe. Plus I am allowing the starting fee, the background itself, power. So, if you're really against it, tell me. But for this campaign, we're gonna be using 3 stats. Screenshot them now, I guess. But we're gonna be choosing from, and you can still rearrange them how you want. This, you also still have your racial bonuses apply as normal. And well, for a starting feat, if you choose not to get one of the Strixhaven College backgrounds, you can get a starting feat. You can, well, first of all, it has to be a half feat, a +1 to an ability score, and the ability score that half feat boosts, you gain a skill associated with that score. So you get an additional skill. Campaign is going to be more RP based. I'm 10 instead of a 9 for prodigy. Wait, okay, we'll see. We'll discuss for character creation then. The reason prodigy has 2 negatives is because a 16 at level 1 powerful. We allow it normally because we usually run one-shots or power games, but getting a 15 base is the general expectation. A 16 at level 1 is powerful because that means a way for you to get an 18 at level 1. Which is pretty good. Very good. Which is why, if you want 16, I want to balance that up at 9 and 7. If you want to specifically, hello there, paint. Start the bargain, we can discuss, but for now, assume that this is going to be what you're. Keep in mind that, yep, skill versatility is pretty nice in this campaign. But yeah. And let me also put this here. Save these where you want to save them. Unless people are specifically going to be so against it. We're going to be using these. The generalist is basically your all-arounder. They're good. Yep, everyone gets at least a 15 because I'm not going to be a sadist. Everyone can at least get a 15. The generalist is more of the all-rounder, no real bad stats, but just a 15 is good and everything else is decent. Specialist is more if you want to be that prioritizes 2 stats, gives a 15 and a 14, which lets you get up, which with assuming you choose a racial bonus, you can get you can get that and 14 but you do. And yeah, for the starting feat, you can choose to follow those rules. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Okay, and lastly, here are some character questions for you to think about when making your character backstory. Why did your character enroll in Strixhaven? Why did they choose to study magic? What did they hope to accomplish by studying in Strixhaven? Their expectations, their hopes. What their expectations, their hopes, their ambitions. Why do they study here? Do they know anyone associated with Strixhaven? If you want to be part in your backstory, a family member was a student. They were an accomplished student. We can work with that. And I guess last, give some general directions as to what you think, where you think. Just some, yeah, that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's everything I really have to say for session 0. I guess with that, oh my god, with that, yeah, we're pretty much done. That's everything I need to say. Okay, and well, just some I can do some general wrap up. Okay, well, we'll discuss stuff like I already gave the impression. Will be most RP. There will be combat, and there's a good amount of D&D, of course, but this is a campaign where if you're going to build a character that's gonna be like focused on combat and how well they can perform, just be warned that it won't be the priority. This is a campaign that's mostly based on your not really social life, but more your student life. And I guess, okay, one thing here. How open this is kind of an obvious question, but how far are you all just willing to take the whole relationship? Like, if you have anything, just any issues you want, just some personal preferences as to how far can we turn the dial? Like, what if anyone just no link? Yeah, okay. That's just if anyone has some just some boundaries, stuff to respect for me to if anything I should know, you can tell me in DMs privately. Sure. Even okay, then noted. And yeah, I guess yeah, that's pretty much everything. Yeah. Now, okay, now excuse me as okay. Basically, if anyone has that is one thing. Yeah. Yeah, just if anyone has anything they want to tell me, you can tell me. I'm the DM, we will work together. Okay. See you now then, I guess. Okay, you can all... I want to tell you something. I am gay. Holy shit, congratulations.
Oh, nice.
Okay then, well, I guess with that,
I see.
you're all free to choose your characters, start building them, you're equipped with the knowledge you want. If you want to go back to a specific slide, you can tell me, I'll... Okay, for backstories, you guys have long. And for scheduling and stuff like that, we can handle that through text once Snow's actually alright. But yeah. You can just feel free to sit in this VC and make lore. Make your sheet if you want. And yes, we are starting at level 1. I already told that, but just in case anyone needs it again, we're starting level 1. Which means, yep. Most people don't have subclasses unless you're hijinx or the warlock. But yeah. It's gonna be pretty easy to actually build a sheet since we're going to start at level 1. And yeah. Yep, I have a feeling. Also, yeah, there is... Yeah. If you're aiming for something specific, tell me. And yeah, I'm just basically just... The things here are generally here for people to get a feel for each other. Like, if someone wants to build the super smart character and someone also builds a super smart character, just get some general knowledge across your character to be so that we can actually predict, like, form a group dynamic. Okay, now... Oh, I see. Okay then. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. If anything important that I should know, tell me in advance. Work with them. Star Druid. That's nice. Yeah? Can we make them 9 attendant prodigy? No. I'm sticking with that 9. If you want a 16, deal with it. If you want a 16, deal with it. I want to see you all earn your skills. Since Naga don't wear pants, are they technically always going commando? I guess? Though reptilian races don't really care a lot about clothing. It's not really in their culture to be quote-unquote naked.
Is it true that reptilians have 2?
Can we make the 12 another 13? Nah. The reason Prodigy is like that is because of 16. Yep. If you want to be talented, there is something that draws back. If you do notice, yeah, the stat totals are uneven. Because if you are aware of it, these scores are generated using the point buy method, which is your... Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I did. Probably should put that in PowerPoint, but yeah. I am allowing... Okay. Yeah, I guess I actually forgot to put it into PowerPoint, but yeah. There's... I'm gonna use this rule, which I called online just homebrew rule. Floating ability. Okay, how floating ability scores work is... Since there are new races that basically allows Their stats, basically, if you are a race, and for example you have a +2 and a +1, you can choose to reassign one of those stats to a score you don't already get a plus in. Human or a snake face? Honestly, either can work. And that's either interpretation could probably work since we aren't really in the wild mount setting. Okay, so shadow speaking specialist. Okay. Okay, how floating ability scores work is... Okay. If you want to choose a race that gets like a +2 and a +1, you can choose one of those stats that gains a plus and reassign it to someone else. Oh, however, here's the thing. Since there are sub-races that give a bonus to a stat like Fallen Aasimar get +1 strength, that +1 strength stays. What you can reassign for like a Fallen Aasimar is one of the +1s charisma, and reassign it to something else that isn't strength or charisma. Your base race, like your base actual race, that gives the +2, or if it also gives a +1, you can choose to reassign that one stat somewhere else. Like if you're a half orc that gets +1 strength, +2 con, you can take away that +1 strength and put it somewhere else that isn't strength or con. Or choose one of the +1s from the +2 con, put it somewhere else that isn't strength or con. Theoretically get a +1 in stats. You choose like half orc, reassign one of those stats. Just because there are new races that let you however you. You can't get a +3 with floating abilities. And yeah, these stats are intentionally designed so that there's the odds. And yeah, you can just start to +2 int and +1 whiz. Nice. Oh boy, -2 strength. Watch me dump strength or charisma again. So, just a general question: has anything said here changed really the plans of what character everyone is making, or are you all still sticking with, yeah, the 6 classes and races you chose? All right then, I guess. Okay then, just setting some expectations for. Yeah, Lazu. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I guess just a decision, like, can everyone just say in chat their race class combination? You don't have to choose subclass yet, but just for everyone to basically get, yeah. Don't worry, you have 3 levels to figure out your subclass anyway. Just Vidal can. Oh boy, we have 2 prodigies. Nice. Naga fighter, half elf bard. All right then. And Owlin druid. And Hi, are you Harangon Hexblade or are you going Harangon Monk? Hexblade. All right then. So for your patron, you still want to go with that patron? Because yep. All right then. Me and Hai discussed over DMs for a specific patron for the Hexblade, because there is a specific new thing in this book that can function as a patron. Yeah. You don't have to finish all of it now. You have. Look, okay, we can discuss the scheduling over the week, but if you want, I think we can probably we might be able to schedule a section for next Friday, like session 1. I'm honestly, I've read through the book and I can honestly just prepare session 1 for next week. If you're all available, if we can discuss a time, just stuff like that. But I guess let me also just grab this. If you need specific information about what places exist, there's the wiki for Arcabios. Friday the 24th. Yeah, 24. Though maybe Thursday can even work too. I'm honestly free Thursdays, Fridays, and the usual Sundays eaten up. Yeah. We can discuss a lot of that. There are 2 kinds of Vidalcan. Let me look. I'm just snacking here while you're all doing stuff. Huh, Kaladesh in the normal version? Wait. The Kaladesh doesn't exist on Wikidot. Wait, let me check. I mean, the one we already read over, I think works, yeah. I don't think... I can see, I see. Well, we can discuss that later. And... if you all need just anything that typed out backgrounds and them, just yeah. Just send me a message for stuff like if you need the actual written text so you can copy paste them. Yeah. Also, let me also grab this. Let me grab PDF. PowerPoint version again, for anyone who wants to copy them over. See. Falcon Honey. Huh. Where did you find the Wikidot one? Let me find the Wikidot one again. Because honestly that one's fine. Let me grab this. Yeah, you changed the URL. Just like there we go. There's the dash Kaladesh and you can just remove it. Find it. Oh wait, did they update it? Oh, I think it's because they updated the wiki. Okay, the official Owlin sheet. Let me grab this. Wait. Yeah, they updated the sheet. So wait, let me just reach it. So yeah, the one we reviewed earlier was the Kaladesh Vidalcan, and the normal Vidalcan is. Okay, let me read over these. Honestly, if you have no preference, we can just stick with the Kaladesh one the one we already reviewed. They updated the wiki while we were doing this. Okay, let me grab. I'll also just be reposting these into the actual Strixhaven chat. Let me get Alan for Snow. Race option Alan. Let me also. A 20-foot long Naga? Gonna be honest, I don't. Honestly, I say just Google how heavy snakes weigh, and add multiple a snake of that length and just multiply it by like 1.5. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to ask. Do you all want to enable doubling damage modifiers on crit hits? Ah, science back, nice. Do you want to make crits even crittier? Because one thing I will also add, if a spellcaster gets a crit on a spell that uses an attack roll, they can add their spellcasting modifier to. Like if you roll Guiding Bolt, you have 17 wisdom or plus 3 wisdom, and you crit on Guiding Bolt, instead of just being 6, it's 6 plus 3. So spellcasters also get it. For martial classes, they double their damage modifier. For spellcasters, if they crit, they add their damage modifier as well. So we just make crits a bit more fun. Yeah, pretty much, Gal. If a spellcaster gets a crit on an attack roll, they can add their spellcasting mod to the damage roll. Like since spells don't normally add their spellcasting mod to the spells, for like if you're firing a firebolt and you crit, instead of just being 2d10, it's 2d10 plus your damage mod. Why is Chef a con increase? Well, you need someone to test your concoctions. Let me just eat my fries here. I've been talking for so long, my snacks are cold. Chef! Nice. The Naga can cook. Alright then. So, I guess that means you can choose to boost to get an extra skill and either get the +1 every level con. You choose to get the con bonus. What are half feats again? There are feats that give a +1. Wait, let me. Retro, do you still have that link I sent you? That link I sent you with the half feats? Can you send that for Snow? So she can look at that too. Yeah, there we go. The reason it's for half feats instead of full feats is because I didn't want someone to get like Sentinel or Lucky at level 1 when they're just a student. Oh. No worry, I'll just say this now. I'm fine. There's no real harm in saying this. Year 1 will be levels 1 to 4. Your first year will be the levels 1 to 4. Yeah. No real harm in saying that. Well, at least it's easy. I mean, you're gonna choose the Quandrix background, right? So we at least get Strixhaven Initiate and a free spell. Oh yeah, starting equipment. We're doing normal. We're doing normal starting. You're all just too used to level. Everyone used at level. Okay, if anyone wants the text on. Wait, let me find it. If Ozzy isn't in the campaign. Here we go. Okay, if anyone wants the specific text versions of stuff, that's there. The backgrounds aren't fully written in text because there's a lot of them. I'd say so. If it makes sense, it probably works. We'll just discuss them when they actually become relevant. Drawing animals. Instead of becoming a direwolf, you summon fire and ice and actually turn into an elemental. Ooh, resilient. Oh, so you're not choosing the Prismari background. Expecto Patronum. You're studying animal anatomy. Let me find it. There. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I made it. If you con, you get 1 extra HP. So you get 1 extra HP at level 1, and every time you level, you get 1. It's basically half of the tough feat. Which makes sense. So if you're like by level 20, you have 20 more HP. The Quandrix background. Sure. I'll just be Sid, Quandrix student. Yeah, let me just DM Sid. It's gonna be a long one, so bear with. Me, be here. Boom that. Oh god, that's. Take that, and let me get the prism. Let me get the initiate. Arcabios so that you don't have to write it all down yourself. Let me just find it again for anyone who wants to view them. For backgrounds. That's gonna be fun. Well, at least you get scale armor, if you choose it. Or studded leather, was it? Yeah, studded leather or scale, which is good. You might need it. Level 1. How be when you play with people who are too used to starting at level 3. Let me get these spells again. Hey, Ken. Yeah. Hey, sometimes that just happens. This is why. Imagine if I let someone get a 20 at level 1. You're students. If you have a 20, why are you even studying here anymore? Other than prestige or some other goal. Which, goddammit, that actually makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that does make. It's fantasy. Okay, if you choose the backgrounds, those are the free spells you get. And when I mean free, I mean they're just prepared. If you're a prepared spellcaster, those spells are always prepared. Which is why these backgrounds are pretty good. And yeah, if each, I guess the only one you all can reasonably learn at. If you want to learn Silvery Barbs at level 1, if you're not a Silver Quill, I'd say hold off on it for now, because if you want to learn Silvery Barbs, I want you to actually, well, learn it from Silver Quill. Unless you're already a Silver Quill initiate. They're just bullets that you spend, that you fire off. Magitech guitar, hell yeah.